Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Got another update for you on Clayton and Susie. They reunite, and it feels so good. We're going to get into it. I hope you're having a great Monday. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals for stand-up show updates. I've got shows upcoming, possibly in the summer. I'll be in Seattle, Washington, still finalizing that info. I think a date is secured for the end of August there. I'll also have shows in a few weeks in Nashville, Tennessee. You're the only 10 I see. I've got a last-minute trip to Nashville going on. If you know, you know. We've been discussing it on the Patreon, what we're doing over there. Someone's podcast, maybe. So I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee, and then the week after that, we'll be in New York City for shows June 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So lots to get to. That'll all be on my Instagram at DNeals, and I've got Patreon coverage for you. The cruise ship that I did, a little 11-minute cruise ship tour, that's uploading right now. You can get that on Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. If you want to see the behind the scenes in the Statesman stateroom that we stayed at on our Royal Caribbean cruise over the weekend, and also Bachelor Rush Hour, the afternoon podcast. I'll be discussing on today's Bachelor Rush Hour what Reality Steve had to say about my interview with Katie Thurston. I haven't listened to it yet, so we'll listen to that on today's afternoon rush hour. Every afternoon, I've got Bachelor-related and other entertainment news content for you right here on my channel. All right, this video, let's get into it. We've got a Susie and Clayton reunion. Here's Susie's Get Ready With Me, GRWM, for those that are out of touch, means get ready with me. It's where you kind of dabble on some makeup while you share some info. I don't know. I don't get it. Let's listen. Oh, we got the audio off. Let's listen to that. And she says in her subject, get ready with me to see my ex. He told me I have to ask for permission to film him now.
With me to see my ex. Just kidding, kind of. I mean, we are gonna see Clayton, but like, it's fine. And I'm hungover, so. That's Celsius, not alcohol. Back on. Say, not as I do.
All right, so she's putting her makeup on. Not really much going on here, but of course, funny that that Clayton had set a boundary that says she has to ask permission to film him. I'm sure that was half kidding, but also it's like, yeah, Clayton, do you? You guys broke up. She can't just monetize you for no reason. That's my job, Clayton. I get to monetize you guys for no reason. Either way, here it is. Here's from Susie Was Like on TikTok, Susie Evans. The title says, when you both get booked on an influencer trip and remember what it was like when you were dating. And hold on, again, we're having some issues here. 1 second, and then it says, Clayton Eckert, me realizing how toxic I am for making you do this and thinking it's funny.
Is it because you're just really insecure? I am not insecure, needy.
All right, so it's just lip syncing. Okay, I'm too old. I don't understand it, but there it is. It's fun because they used to date, Susie and Clayton right there. Clayton has responded, though, and of course, he's getting really good at this game. Here's a video of Clayton says, just hanging around.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
And of course, it is a video of Clayton accidentally or subtly placing his hand on Susie's lower thigh, upper knee area, quad, her quads out for the boys. Now, Clayton is receiving a lot of love from the internet community for his thighs as they come out to play here. He's getting what some are calling a glow up. Someone said Clayton is kind of hot, 100% would hit. And then others came here to say the same thing. Clayton's glow-up post-show cannot be matched. I was not into him at all, but now he's super hot and also seems really kind. I wish production wasn't so awful to him. Yeah, Clayton seems pretty kind. He's having fun with the sort of exes in his life. Here he was cozying up with Rachel Recchia for some content that they made, which of course took the internet by storm. And by took the internet by storm, I mean, you clicked, you watched. Maybe I kept you interested in it with some slight banter, because let me tell you something, it's barrel scraping. I mean, I am in the barrel. It's dry. I already scraped it from last season. We didn't have much of a rollover, so it's feast or famine right now, folks, and we are hungry. All right, but we won't use anyone for collateral damage, not on my watch. So here's a clip of me with Susie discussing their biggest drama. This is from our hit episode of Driving with Dave, episode 2. Of course, episode 3 is out now if you want to check that out with Katie Thurston. But here is Susie explaining what it was like to find out that, of course, Clayton was being accused of cheating on her. I was actually it was a beach day. It was a beach day about a year ago. I don't know the date. When I saw a TikTok. I was on the beach, getting my tan on, and I saw a TikTok that said, Clayton cheated on you.
my
with somebody.
gosh.
That's where I was.
Yep.
And I was like, do I make a story about it now? It's windy. I don't have good cell phone reception. And it became a wild thing.
Yeah.
You were working.
I was working a wedding.
How did someone tell you, or did your phone just blow up?
My phone was blowing up. I was in Santa Ynez, California. He was in Arizona. And I had just finished filming a wedding, the ceremony. My phone's blowing up. I get a text from Clayton. He's like, hey, super weird. Like, this girl's claiming that I cheated with her last night. I didn't have time to look at the details, so I didn't see that she said it was in New York.
So at that point, it's a he said, she said for you.
Totally. And I didn't know Clayton that well, in all honesty. He was about to move into my apartment, and I was kind of against moving into my apartment, but he was adamant. He was like, no, we need to live together. I was like, okay, crazy.
So what was the percentage of trust? Because you already said you've had some trust issues.
Yeah.
So what percentage did you believe him?
I believed him, I would say 95%. When I got the text and then I got her message, I was like, shit. And I texted him and I was like, honestly, I'm not gonna roast you. I'm not gonna out you. But if you
Isn't it the best? I'm not gonna roast you. Susie will roast you. So anyway, of course, if you haven't already, if you're one of the rare people who somehow missed the radar of that interview, it's, I think, the most the greatest explanation we've gotten from Susie about her relationship with Clayton. And my goal for these interviews, if you haven't checked them out yet, is to humanize some people that we might just see as fodder for our own consumption, for our own tea. And they're real people with real stories. They lived good lives before The Bachelor, and they'll live good lives after The Bachelor. So episode 1 was Reality Steve. Episode 2, Susie Evans. Episode 3 was Katie Thurston. Who will be episode 4? I know who it's going to be, and I'm about to tell Patreon. So if you want to know, go over there and see the behind the scenes of how it all goes down. So we had Clayton here with his glasses on, studying. Susie right there, very studious. And good job, Clayton from Game of Roses pod. Let's just, take a second to appreciate Clayton in some of the clips he's been sharing about his mental health journey.
So many individuals that I've found that have made it in life or had that pivotal moment, there's a word that's often used. If you find yourself feeling this way and you use that term and that's the way you describe yourself, you're right where you need to be to make a massive life change. They say, I got to a place where I felt that I was broken. And that's when I decided to create a change. If you're feeling broken, that's actually a good place to be. It doesn't feel like it at the time.
Congrats, Bachelor Nation. You broke Clayton. I hope you feel good about it.
It's your ego that's more than likely broken, which means that you're more willing to try to find a way to fix yourself. You're like, I will look to see if there are other options out there. Did you ever feel like that? Did you ever use that word? Did it ever pop in your head?
Many times.
Yeah.
I felt that. And there's still times where I'll temporarily feel that. I don't think that you get to a place where you feel complete or whole. I think it's a daily act. It's just about putting one foot in front of the other.
Love it or lisp it. So there's Clayton on Austin Zabak's podcast. I'm not familiar with him, but just discussing his mental health journey. I'm going to share one more clip. Look, we can have all the fun we want when it comes to TikToks with Susie and their relationship and how it ended. By the way, he's got a great hoodie there, but his muscles are just so big. I mean, boy, Clayton, you and I should talk about how tough it is to have big muscles, right? Okay, I'm just kidding. Either way, here he is again. He said, if you are someone that overthinks, then this message that recently changed my life may change yours as well. And if you truly choose to believe this saying, then you find yourself spending less time in your head, second guessing yourself, and more time being present and authentically you. Here's what he had to say on the same podcast.
Stranger the day before, 3 hours into talking about mental health, I said, man, the biggest thing I struggle with, I overthink everything. And I sometimes just care too much about what people think. And he goes, here's something to help me. You'll never say the wrong thing to the right person. You'll never say the right thing to the wrong person. Think about it when you text a girl that you like. Do you ever just stare at the phone? You start typing something out, you go, no, and you delete it. You type something 4 or 5 things out, and then you finally send something that you think that they want to hear, and then they don't respond back or they ghost you, and you're just like, I should have just sent the first thing, because the first thing is the authentic thing. Just be yourself, man, and just send the first thing. Because to the right person, you can never say the wrong thing. And if you do say the wrong thing, the right person's gonna say, what do you mean by that? Or they're gonna say, hey man, I didn't really like that you said that. This is how I took this. And you're like, oh, no, I didn't mean it that way. But to the wrong person, no matter what you say, it's gonna be wrong. This guy was
very interesting. Very good way to put it. Yeah, it's all about detachment, detaching yourself from the outcome. I learned this a lot with stand-up comedy. And again, we're kind of shifting the conversation to mental health right here from a very, irreverent conversation about Susie and Clayton breaking up or, getting back together to make TikToks. But this idea that perfection is the enemy of good, and it actually works against you. It works against you in the dating world. The idea that you just wait to curate the best responses. So no, go with your intuition, go off the cuff. Now don't be an a-hole, but don't overthink things. Trust your intuition. And that can be tough because everything on social media is curated. There isn't much trusting your intuition. Should I tweet this? Should I tag that? Should I use this filter? It's just nonstop questioning ourselves when we should live in a world where we just trust that we've got all the tools to make all the decisions. And that goes for the dating world or being in a job interview. It goes for just becoming your authentic self and stripping away who you think others want you to be and being the best version of who you can be. If you become the best version of who you can be, you'll be undeniable. So good for Clayton to learn these things. I have to say, he's got it. I don't want to, it's hard to compare people's traumas from the show, but he got it pretty bad. He got it bad when he chose Susie. He got it bad. He was in a real rough place, and we look at someone as how strong they are with their physicality. And I said this when I interviewed him. I said, were you working out to create a body that was as big and strong because it was the one thing you could control? And so often we can't control things on the inside, or at least we think we can't. So we try to control everything on the outside, our outward appearance. How about both? How about let's just be the best version of ourselves by nurturing ourselves and being healthy? And I can see Clayton doing that. Gosh, I'm saying, I don't know if we want a round 2 for Clayton on Bachelor, but boy, would I appreciate seeing him on Bachelor in Paradise if he's ready. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. That's probably going to be it from me today. We got back this morning from the cruise, so don't have much content to discuss and have a little bit of catching up on life to do, but I will have some added Bachelor content on the podcast, which is free, bachelorrushhour.com. All the little stories that weren't worth it, as far as, making specific individual YouTube videos, I put them all together and we discuss them on Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast. I'll tell you what, I'll also tell the podcast right here who my next guest is going to be for Driving with Dave. I will reveal that and why I'm so excited to interview this person. I'll have that all on today's afternoon podcast, bachelorrushhour.com. Have a good rest of your Monday, everybody. We'll see you later.